All right, this week is the busiest for earnings yet, and we'll be hearing from the Federal Reserve about the future path for interest rates. Joining us right now is Jeremy Siegel. He is professor emeritus of finance at the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School of Business. He's also the chief economist at WisdomTree. And, Professor, let's just take stock of where we are with the markets at this point. The S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100 all closed at record highs on Friday. It's happening while we continue with this war in the Middle East and while energy prices are higher. Where do you think about what we've come up with just in terms of all of this while we're also in the middle of earnings season?
Well, first, good morning, Becky. Let me say that I don't think the drama surrounding Jay Powell is over. I understand that Tillis will let Warsh go. But I haven't read anything that says that Powell accepts what Trump has done, stopping the investigation from the Justice Department, whether that's sufficient for him to leave his position. And that's very important. We all know that he won't be chairman, and that's okay. But we know he has 2 more years that he could serve if he wants. And at that last meeting, he seemed to make it clear, unless I am exonerated, completely exonerated, I will stay on as board member. And he will be the second most powerful person there after Warsh in that room. So
Jeremy, the criminal charges are dropped. Now it's just the IG, the Inspector General, is going to look at whether there's cost overruns. This is exactly what. And a lot of people think Powell's
there was a question of permanent. He said exoneration. Now I don't know whether Powell accepts that.
I think he wants out too. I think he wants to get as far away as he can from all this. He wants to go back and be a normal person again, not have all this swirling around him. I don't think he wants to be a thorn in the side like a gadfly, but
even if he stayed, I don't know that he would try and kick things up and be a dissenter necessarily. I don't see him as somebody who's an activist. I see him as somebody who basically has always kind of voted with what he thinks is the right move.
I mean, I understand that. I think that's going to be interesting. I mean, in the Wednesday news conference that we're going to get at 2:30, I think that's probably the most interesting thing that's going to happen. Is it saying they dropped it and, this clears the way, I am satisfied with that position. Because remember, it sort of came out of the blue at that last meeting when he said, unless it is dropped and I am exonerated, I intend to stay on as the Fed member. So I think, given that we all know that there's not going to be any change, that he will not be chairman at the most important meeting, which the June meeting is going to be the fascinating meeting. I think his statement about, does he feel sufficiently clear or not? I don't know whether he talked to Tillis or not, saying, yeah, this is good enough for me. And Tillis said, okay, if it's good enough for you, I'll go on. I mean, that certainly is one thing that's going on.
Who knows? You might be right. He could be totally vindictive and pissed off and everything else.
But even if he stayed, do you see it changing the course of the FOMC voting on rates?
Well, I mean, don't forget, him staying denies Trump another one of his picks.
Right.
If he really wants to change the course of the Fed, he needs as many picks as possible. And so I think him staying is very significant in terms of changing the direction of the Fed post Warsh. Because, outside of Warsh, Mirren is leaving, which I actually think I like Mirren. I wish he would stay, but he has said he is leaving. So where are the other allies that Trump has for aggressively lowering rates?
Do you think that Warsh is going to try and lower rates at the first meeting that go around?
No, I'm not sure. I think he's going to wait and see. I think, we're all going to wait and see. I mean, that's 2 months away, almost. So, what's going to happen in the war? What's going to happen to oil? What's going to happen in prices? He may try. I don't know, how Trump will react, but I think he needs as many allies as possible. And the only way to get an ally is for Powell to leave 2 years before the end of his term and Trump getting another appointment. So I think that is an important development going on.
Jeremy, let's just talk. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, outside of that, listen, I think basically the market said we can live with $90 oil. We're energy self-sufficient. We're less affected than anyone else. Earnings are coming in great. War expenditures will be up. Well, we know that's an extra stimulus from the fiscal side that's coming on. Monetary policy, I'm looking at money supply and credit seems to be getting easier. I see an expansion of that. So, and AI is, even with the war, AI is now considered to be war linked in the sense of, who's going to generate the drones and all the technology that is going to fight our 21st century wars. AI might be even more important than we thought 6 months ago. So, I don't see anything stopping this market going forward, except, hostilities coming on and oil spiking to 140 or 150.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask, because even with oil at these prices, earnings are coming in strong and the market's sitting at new highs or right around new highs. I mean, that tells you that if hostilities calm down, there's probably more behind that, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if there is I don't know, we've gotten news that, if Trump accepts that, all right, we'll open the strait and talk about, energy, that would be a big positive for the market. I mean, because that is restricting, 10 million plus barrels a day of oil. It affects, Europe, in particular, Asia, much more than it affects us. But their demands, of course, we live in a global economy, will redound to our benefit if they get the oil that they need. So if Trump accepts that proposal, that would be a big positive for the market.